What are the best strategies for raising bilingual children?
Welcome to the language learning market, where you can find the world's best educational resources in all languages. We're building a community of people who love languages and would like you to be part of it. If you haven't subscribed yet, then join us. Now let's learn something new.
When you live in a country where your mother tongue is the minority language, you face a key question if you want to encourage the active ability of this language in your children. What language strategy should we adopt? In other words, which approach to the use of languages in our family will best help our children develop proficiency in the minority language? If your children attend a majority language school, developing competence in that language likely won't be an issue. If schooling in the minority language is not part of your plans, in most cases, the choice of language strategy will involve some variation of these two well-known approaches. 1. The one person, one language approach, also called one parent, one language, where each parent speaks a single language to the child. 2. The minority language at home approach, where both parents use the minority language and the majority language is acquired from the community. There's a certain continuum here, however, where one parent, even both parents, could also use the majority language to some degree. The one person, one language approach. Advantages. 1. Given sufficient exposure to both languages, this approach can help create a firm foundation for the two languages to grow simultaneously and in a roughly balanced way, while establishing an organic need for the child to actively use them on a daily basis. 2. Each parent is able to speak his or her mother tongue. An important point: many parents have a natural desire to interact with their own children in their native language. Disadvantages. 1. When only one parent is providing input in the minority language, and especially if that parent isn't the main caregiver, there may not be sufficient exposure in that language to keep pace with the development of the majority language. As a result, the majority language grows dominant and the minority language more passive. This can be particularly true once the child begins attending school in the community and uses the majority language even more intensely. This seems to be the main difficulty facing families pursuing the one person, one language approach in Japan. How will the parents communicate with each other? If the partner who speaks the minority language also regularly uses the majority language, the child will come to recognize that this parent has facilities in that language. The child's needs to use the minority language might then be compromised, and undermining this need for the language can make it harder to effectively maintain the one person, one language approach. The minority language at home approach. Advantages. 1. This strategy can substantially boost the amount of exposure that the child receives in the minority language. This is especially true, of course, when the parent who speaks the minority language as a mother tongue is unable to spend as much time with the child as the other parent. 2. A clear distinction is drawn between the use of the two languages in the child's mind. The minority language is used at home, and the majority language is used outside the home. Although a similar distinction can be set with the one person, one language approach, the minority language is used with one parent, the majority language with the other. This distinction may weaken if the parents aren't consistent about this usage. Disadvantages. 1. One parent must agree to speak to his or her child in a second language to maintain the minority language environment at home. For parents with lower level ability in that language, this may be problematic and a source of stress. Even for parents with stronger abilities, interacting with their children in their non-native language can feel unnatural and dissatisfying. The solution for some families is a compromise. where the majority language parent uses a balance of both languages rather than only speaking the second language. One common scenario involves this parent using the majority language when alone with the child, then switching to the minority language when the family is together. 2. The lack of input in the majority language at home can result in that language developing more slowly. Though the child generally catches up with peers once attending a school in the community, his introduction to schooling in the majority language can be challenging emotionally, and he may remain at the academic disadvantage without some form of parental support. Commit to it and be consistent. Whatever strategy seems to make the most sense for your family, tailor it to your needs and commit to it with enthusiasm. Not only is it important to consciously choose the best approach for your situation, but you should also be as consistent as you can about carrying out that intention. This doesn't mean being rigid, though. If circumstances change and warrant a change in tactics, address the new conditions and take appropriate actions to rebalance the language exposure the child will receive moving forward. This may call for a change of language strategy within the family or a stronger effort within the strategy you're already pursuing. Of course, consider the child's feelings carefully when making any significant changes, especially if a parent will begin using a different language. Discuss the changes with the child, if he's old enough, and implement them gently, with an eye on the child's reaction. First, it's important to remember that there is no right strategy for every family to follow. After all, each family must work with its own unique set of circumstances, and what's best for one family might not be best for another. That said, it should also be stressed up front that the odds of success will most likely be higher in proportion to the amount of input in the minority language that the child receives on a regular basis. To determine the strategy that's best for your own family, we encourage you to make a decision with your partner that effectively takes into account your particular circumstances and aims and meets the two core conditions for fostering active bilingual ability. The child receives significant exposure to the minority language and feels a genuine need to use it. And with that, we've reached the end of this video about what the best strategies for raising bilingual children are. Are you teaching your child another language? What are the strategies that work for you? Get involved and let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this one and found it helpful, remember to leave a like in the video and subscribe to Language Learning Market for even more amazing videos just like this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe. We're building a community of global experts in communication, education and language learning. Join us by visiting our website www.languagelearningmarket.com and be sure to tag #LanguageLovers on any social media platform to promote your business or products on our social feeds.